Good evening. My name is Angel Santana, and I am the host of Have Faith, Let It Begin. This evening, we are broadcasting live and simulcast on TikTok and on a Zoom version. Today, after 5 years of being on the air, I will tell you that what you're about to hear will be considered, in most people's opinions, as a controversial interview. Why is it controversial? I'm going to describe to you how I met these two ladies. They're about to enter our actual broadcast, and how they have single-handedly changed the way I view, the way that my prejudiced self was, which I was once, and I'll get into that later, has been pretty much evolved. So how do we begin this controversial episode? Well, I'm going to start it this way. We are all different, yet we are all God's children. We are all united by this country and the common cause of freedom, justice, fairness, and equality. And that is what unites us. No color, no religion, no nationality, no gender should come between us. We are all God's children, and we are children of God. Have faith, let it begin. Primetime edition starts right now.
Welcome to Have Faith. Let it begin. Here's your host, Angel Santana.
Ariel, can you say have faith?
Again.
Let it begin?
Again.
Say have faith.
Again.
Let it begin.
No.
No? Okay.
It's a boy.
Hi, Noah.
Noah!
Noah.
Jesus. Happy birthday, Noah!
Caitlin.
You did amazing.
You just put those notes in. Noah.
Have faith. Let begin. When it starts right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Have Faith, Let It Begin. My name is Angel, and joining me here on the other side of the glass, I'd like to introduce you to two very beautiful people on the inside and out. I'm going to start with Emily. Emily, welcome to Have Faith, Let It Begin.
Hello, thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you. And Demi, also, who is a veteran of our armed forces. Demi, welcome to Have Faith, Let It Begin.
Thank you. Thank you for having me so much.
Excellent. So we're going to start off like this. A couple of weeks ago, I was on TikTok. For many of you that are watching TikTok or know anything about TikTok, it is a platform where you can go on, you can gift people, you can battle people, you can meet people of every single nationality, race, color, creed, gender. It doesn't matter. Everybody seems to be on TikTok. So I joined it it'd be 2 years, but 2 weeks ago, I was watching a live and something happened that really hit home to me. It bothered me. And it wasn't the person that I was watching. It was what was being said to this individual. And what they were saying was in the negative format of a spiritual, and I'll let her get more specific, but it was more of a spiritual bashing. They were using lines such as, Jesus hates you, Jesus will not like you, you should burn in hell. And I have never, ever grown up with that type of knowledge of speaking to people. I've always been taught to respect one another. And I felt that at that point, I had to get involved. So I respectfully asked to be invited into her, I'm going to say her box, because that terminology means her screen. So we had a split screen. And that's where I met Emily. Emily allowed me to speak, and I told her that that is not the way I was taught what religion is about. That spiritually, I was a person that believed that all of us are God's children. And despite and we'll get into it right now, Emily is transgender. And she will get more detailed with that. And it never bothered me. But what bothered me was that she was getting bashed in a very, very nasty, disrespectful, spiritual way. So I wanted to come on and tell her that not every person thinks that way. Emily, what would you say was your first impression when you heard, let's start with the bashing. How did that even happen? Because I just joined in, so it was probably going on a lot longer.
Well, I will be honest. Being transgender is something not new. However, it is something because we have TikTok and because there are more influences, people more feel the need to celebrate themselves and to celebrate their ideologies and their identities. I will say that I've always had the negative and the positive, regardless of whatever it may be. Now, people see transgender as, well, you must just be gay or, everything like that. And they throw this, well, the Bible verse says, man shall not lay with man. And they'll say, well, you clearly are a man and you're attracted to men, which means like you are going to hell. Which again, I never thought anything bad of those that, for lack of a better term, toss the first stone, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't have a problem with that because I know who I am at the end of the day, and everyone's entitled to their own religious freedom.
I totally agree. Demi, I don't know. Were you in that live when I joined? I don't know if you were there.
No, I wasn't there for that one, but I've been there for many of them.
And and to get you involved in this part of this conversation, have you ever encountered that same or similar type of bashing where people from a religious aspect will throw that at you and use that against you?
Oh, absolutely. I get the you need God in your life. You're going to HE double hockey sticks.
Mm.
But
You can
as
say hell,
Emily
it's okay.
said, okay, I don't want to be disrespectful
Yeah, it's all right.
to the cast. But overall, yeah, it's unbelievably common, and I get it on Tik. You know what? I get it on TikTok. I get it online where people are behind a computer, but I never get it in person.
So now the reason why I'm sure at this point they're gonna, I'm sure people will say, okay, wait a minute, Angel, where are you going with this? What are you trying to say? Are you trying to tell me that I have to start? No, let me stop right there because everybody that knows me in the 5 years I've been on the air, I don't tell people how to think. I don't tell people how to pray. I don't tell people how to run their religious relationship with God. However, what I do believe is that someone like me, and a lot of people are going to be shocked by this, I was a prejudiced person when it came to the transgender community. I was very against it. And I don't want to say it was a lot of it because of the verses in the Bible. I'm well aware of it. I think it was because of the fear and of the fear of the unknown. And I was looking at someone that looked different. And I dare to say, in my ignorant thinking, looked funny. And what I didn't realize was there was something behind that. So, my first question to either one of you, I guess we'll start with Emily, is before you realized that you were, going to transition, when you decide, were you a happy person prior to that? Because I find you to be so happy today. Was you a different person? Meaning, was there a sadness inside of you? And I'm not clarify. I want to clarify. I'm not saying that that's what made you change. I'm saying you obviously are very happy with who you are today, which inspired me to be in your life. I'm just saying, how would you clarify yourself before the change, and where are you at now?
Well, thank you for asking that first off. I wouldn't say I was a sad child.
Uh-huh.
My parents made sure I had all the love in the world and they made sure I wanted for nothing. However, I wasn't actually sad. I just felt like something was missing on a deeper level I couldn't express. Now, I will say I am the happiest I've ever been. I can wake up every day realizing this is who I am. I made the right choice. And I understand that, for those that don't know, and maybe you don't know, I started, blockers at 11 years old and estrogen at 15. Now that's very controversial in itself. And I understand some may say, well, you were a child, you couldn't possibly make that decision. I understand how some may think that. But just because it's not the right decision for some, or it may not be a decision someone can make at a young age, for me, it was the right choice. And again, I walk outside and I can thank myself that I put myself through everything I had to go through just to be 1% happier. But no, I'm 1,000% happier.
That well said, honestly, well said. Demi, same question to you.
So I can say if I look back through 90% of my childhood pictures, because my mom keeps a collection of them,
Hmm.
um, 5% of them have a smile in it. I knew at 7 years old there was something completely different about me, and I really didn't understand what it was. I didn't know what trans was at the time, and I did not start that early. There are times I absolutely wish I did. I wish I knew what trans was, but I tried living as a gay male. I was extremely effeminate,
Hmm.
and something was still missing for years and years and years. Around 20, 21 years old, I started understanding what trans was, started realizing that I'm not crazy. This isn't wrong for me. And it's been there this entire time. So later, I started seeking counseling after the military, um, did all of that. And they went through the same thing with me. They made sure I was going down the right path.
Hmm.
And I am the happiest I've ever been. There's no question that I made the right decision. And I'm so happy I'm on this path.
And and definitely do not want to ignore the fact that I thank you for your service to this country. I thank you for dedicating your life for our freedom. And I would be wrong for me to ignore your time in the now what service branch was it, if you don't mind me asking?
Army for 5 years, 11 months, and then I was medically retired.
Okay, and I want to make sure that was accurate because I know my father did 25 years, so I have such respect for that. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure many of us that are listening today.
Thank you.
So let's get into a little bit more deeper questions. I mean, those were like some softball questions. Let's get a little bit real. First question that I want to throw at you, and I'm going to disregard, and I do not want to ask for my own personal, because I don't want to be a cliche. And I said this to you ladies offline. I don't want to come out and say the majority of the people that believe that those that are gay or transgender are because they were molested or they have had a bad thing happen to them. We're not going to even go there because, quite honestly, I just think that is a very, very dumb question, to be very, very blunt. Do you want me to ask that question? Do you agree with me, or do you want to move on?
Ask
I
whatever you
pers-
feel is
I was
necessary.
I was gonna say this is your cast. Ask what you want.
I
I'm
want to give
happy
you the
to.
platform. So, do you think we should talk about that? If not, we'll go on to the next question.
I'm happy to answer either way. So it's
Okay,
up to
so
you.
I'll let you go first then, Demi. Go ahead. Then I'll ask the question. Would you say that the reason why you're transgender is because you were either molested or you had a bad experience that made you want to change?
No, I've known that again, I've known that I was different. Everybody goes through something in their childhood one way or another. I have had stuff happen to me that I'm not going to discuss, but none of that is an influence on me being transgender in any single way.
Here, here. Emily, same question.
Yeah, no, honestly, nothing has ever happened to me to where I felt like I needed to be trans. I make a joke all the time, and Demi can attest. I make a joke that I was so flamboyant that I was floating 5 feet off the ground with fairy wings. So this is my wand to prove it. But no,
I love it.
no, absolutely not.
No, that's cool. And that's why I didn't want, I think that question is just, yeah, again, I don't want to knock anybody for thinking it, but I think that question's been thrown around for so many years. To me, it was just like, why go there? So here's my first question. As a person of faith on my end, I have to ask, have you ever, or were you once a person of faith? Either one. Sorry.
Okay. I grew up Catholic and, I went to church every Sunday. I did what I was supposed to. Even after my transition, I was still going to church. And, I would even bring up the gifts for those that don't know what that is when they do their church service. You'll bring up the gifts, for example,
Mhm.
like the bread and the wine and all that stuff.
Right.
So I've done that on numerous occasions. And, I remember doing the rhymes, singing the songs, helping out my community as much as I could, contributing as much as I could. As far as I was concerned, I had a very great relationship with Jesus Christ. However, it wasn't until, well, actually, let me backtrack. I apologize.
That's
I
okay.
still felt like something was missing. And it wasn't until I not gave up or forfeited, I don't want to say that. It wasn't until I deterred, and I know that might also be iffy, from religion was when I truly found myself and truly figured, okay, well, I can focus on myself and make myself happy.
Mhm.
And ever since that, I've been perfectly happy and feel whole inside, and I wouldn't change anything.
That's great. And most people don't even have um that feeling of goodness, especially in today's society with so much mental illness. You know what I mean? So I'm so happy to hear that you are happy and you're comfortable. Demi, same question to you.
So a little similar. I was brought up Christian and Protestant,
Okay.
kind of a combination because of my family. And again, I said I came out as gay when I was 12, and I started to fall away. I really hate putting it this way, but fall away from the faith when every time I would go, I would hear, you can't be this, you can't, God can't love you if you're this, you're going to go to hell.
Mm,
It was just an awful atmosphere for me, and I was already struggling with it in general. And that
right.
feeling of still something missing because, again, I'm trans, I'm not a gay boy.
Right.
So I kind of moved away from it, and I'm very happy now. I still have faith, just not your faith, or just
Understandable.
not the Christian faith, I guess.
And like I've always said on my show, and by the way, great answers and honestly, and thank you for being very honest. Um, as I stated on my show, I don't have a problem with anybody who has their relationship with whatever higher power they believe in. Obviously, yes, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus Christ, but that's me. There are many other religions that think other things. There's the Buddha, there's Allah. There's a lot of ways we can go, right? All I've ever said to anybody was, if you have faith, that's phenomenal. And it seems to me, if I dare to say, both of you have faith. And it's what you do with that faith that I find inspiring. Most people don't even have faith, and you both ooze faith. That's why I think us three were connected, because some part of our faith got got us together, and is putting us in a spot where we can change the world. And how are we doing that? We're talking, we're communicating. People can't even do that these days. It would be an argument. It would be a pushing and shoving. It would be, you're going to hell. It would be all that, right? It would be just like, you're not welcome here. And for what?
You're not wrong, Angel.
And I guess my next main question would be, would you ever consider, if invited, to go to a church that tells you you are welcome, you are not different, and you are a child of God? How does that make you feel? If it came, like if I was in the same neighborhood as you and we met and I said, look, I'm about to preach next week. I want you to come see me because I want you to come and check it out, just to give it one shot. Would you be okay with that?
Emily, I'm going to always let you go first.
That
Okay. So
was
I
bad on
wouldn't
my part.
say, no, you're fine. I wouldn't say that I would be opposed. Then again, it's not ever the pastor or the preacher that would have a problem. It is the church goers.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I don't really care what anyone says about me, but I like to avoid a confrontational situation if I can.
I agree. I agree. Demi?
Personally, I would respectfully decline.
Okay,
I have my own faith. As long as you don't care with me saying it on here,
that's fine.
I'm pagan. I follow the Norse and Egyptian gods,
Okay.
and I love that you have your faith in your God and Jesus Christ. If anything, I would send a prayer out for you if you're okay with that. But I don't have an interest for similar reasons of Emily. It's not so much going to support you or going to listen to you.
Right. No, I
I don't
understand.
want to I don't want to put up with all the other people, to be, and not to be rude, but it's just a situation that I can see going badly.
No, I don't take it that way at all. I wouldn't want to put anyone in an uncomfortable situation. And if we could avoid confrontation because of people that are prejudiced, ignorant, and just don't know how to act, why would why would we even put us in that position? I'll rephrase the question. Now I'm acting like a politician. Ready? If I were to ask you to join me in a Facebook Live version, which means nobody knows that you're watching, you just would be watching me like we do on a TikTok Live. Would you then see that?
I would say yes if I had Facebook.
Just give me. I just use as an example. And Demi,
I would have no problem for the aspect of supporting you because you've been nothing but kind.
Mhm.
But again, there's, I don't want to say no place in my heart for that level, that type of religion or that religion anymore.
That's
But with
fine.
my own upbringing and what happened, I have my faith now, so it would be for support for you. Sure, that doesn't put any risk to me. Listen, I don't have Facebook, but again, you said it was an example.
Yeah,
So for
yeah.
support for you, sure.
Okay, that's cool. And the reason why I wanted to ask that question is because I wanted people to understand two things. One, people that have been of faith could lose their faith because of the actions of other people, which we were taught not to judge. And that is the opposite of what God wanted us to do. He wants us to come together, not divide us. So part of me is hurt by your answer as a person because it's sad to know that you would not feel comfortable, but I totally 150% agree with you that I wouldn't want to be in that position either. So, but it bothers me to know that that is the type of backlash that can happen to people. And I'm sorry that you've had that encounter. And I'm really sorry that it wasn't me that you met first, and more people like me. But I also want to take this opportunity to apologize for my actions 5 years ago. I know I don't owe you an apology, but I want to apologize to you because you are the first and only people I've ever confronted from the transgender community that I've ever apologized to. And I feel that I owe it to that community for being that prejudiced 5 years ago. But I am honored and privileged to extend a hand of friendship from this point on and this moment forward, and to tell you that in my eyes, you are my sisters of Christ. You are my sisters in the eyes of my God. And I welcome you anytime, any place into my home.
I appreciate you for apologizing. I think it takes a bigger person to admit your wrongs and everything like that. But, I will say to you, even though you said it yourself, apology is never necessary. We are always growing and evolving. We are always learning new phrases and we are always trying to be the better version of ourselves. So in that, I feel you don't have to apologize. And I'll say I accept your apology. I will accept your apology
I appreciate it.
if it brings you comfort.
It does.
But again, I will say you don't need to apologize at all.
I appreciate that. If you have a comment, Demi, I'll let you have that.
Emily basically covered it for me. I accept your apology, but that was basically where I was going, is you've admitted your own growth. And that's something that people need to go through. I honestly do wish it was faster. I wish there was more acceptance or people were just accepting of other people's lives.
Mhm.
But people do have to grow. You're saying that you've grown, and I do accept your apology.
And then for the record, I'm not asking for any of my viewers to change their views. If they don't agree with your lifestyle, that's fine. What I'm implying is they are still people, they're still women, and we need to respect every person that we come encounter with and respect the way everyone chooses to live.
And
That's
that's
the
the other
Yes, go
That's
ahead.
the other thing I was gonna say is you don't even got to change your views, but treat me with the same common respect. Treat any other transgender person with the same common respect that you would treat your fellow man or woman. At the
Yes,
end of the day, we deserve respect too.
absolutely. Here, here.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, here's a fun question. We'll get a little out of that. Um, how did you feel, Emily? I'll start with you. When I came into your live, what was the first impression when you felt you said, okay, this is a guy named Angel and he's got a podcast, Faith Let It Begin, and he's telling me that it's okay. Did you wonder if I was fake?
No, 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 no. I I honestly did not know what to think. I didn't have I guess, an opinion of you.
Uh,
I like to formulate my opinions over time, and I would never say, "Oh, you know, darn it, here's another believer trying to, stigmatize what I'm doing as whatever." No, never. I'm very honored that you chose me to be a part of your community and your space. And yeah, no, there was no thoughts about it.
all right, cool. How about you, Demi? I know that I caught you through Emily.
So I met you through Emily. Emily was talking to you cordially, so I figured first and foremost depression that you weren't being like other people that I have met. But just like Emily, I formulate my own opinions, and it wasn't until you were casually talking up in my live that I made my opinion of you. That you seem to rational is the wrong word, that you seem to be just an upstanding person and you have your faith, and I don't see you pushing it out there. You're just out there to let people know it's there. And there is a big difference between pushing something and, hey, would you, like you asked before, would you like to come to a sermon?
Right.
There's a big difference. And the way how respectful you are is what made me make my decision to um, come onto this podcast when you and Emily asked me.
Or when Emily pretty much, just
Yeah, when
dropped the ball.
yeah.
For those of you that don't know, we got to bring that up. Like all of a sudden Emily was like, by the way, you're going to be on the podcast too, right? Bam.
That's not what happened. I made a suggestion that maybe, depending on how long the podcast is, because I know you wanted to have a conversation with Demi as well, that one part would be me, and then you can interview Demi afterwards. I would never step on any toes.
I know, just play it. This is the fun parts that we have when we're on live. It's awesome. All right, so as we're winding down, and I like to formally right now invite you back. I think there's many more topics we can get into, and I think that you are, I believe that you are somebody's two women that I would love to have back on, and come up with different types of topics and get into more detailed information. And I'm sure by doing this, you've already have ideas of what we could do. So let's definitely get together and continue this trio and invite more people on. I'd love to meet more people and hear their stories. Now, you both have gone through extensive amount of changes, and this is a very difficult process. I saw some of your videos that shows, the transition. That's some painful stuff that you went through. Um, I guess you have to ask, do you feel that it was worth it?
It was absolutely worth it. And, physical pain is temporary. But the way I think about it is, well, let me start by saying I was a complete wreck when I was getting it done.
Mm,
And I was crying, and it was my first time ever having a panic attack because
oh,
I
wow.
knew what it entailed. I knew the pain I was going to be in. And even though you psych yourself up, you are never ready.
Yeah.
And I will say, even though within my torment in myself, which I could have just taken a deep breath and I didn't, um, even I was crying on the table before I went out. I always say to everyone, I am not religious anymore, but that was probably the closest thing to heaven on earth that I've ever experienced because I knew that I was going to be enjoying the rest of my life.
Wow. Powerful. And of course, my faith would tell you that was God's presence saying, I've got you. I believe in you. I trust you. and I am not leaving your side, that's what I would say to you. But that's my
Absolutely.
interpretation of it. Demi, what do you think?
Um, I'm with Emily. So I've had multiple things done, and the difference for me is I've done electrolysis. And for
Mm,
anyone out there that's ever done electrolysis in any form, it hurts. And I've willingly gone back for 2 years because at the
mm,
end of the process, my face is starting to be exactly what it's supposed to be. I'm going for my FFS, follow-up FFS on March 14th. I couldn't be more excited.
mm.
And yes, the healing process isn't the greatest feeling in the world, but that gets over with. And then I get to see on the outside what I see on the inside every single day.
You know, you guys made me you made me think of a question. The way you look today, was that the same vision you had,
Yes.
or was it better?
When I was little and I envisioned what I wanted to be, and this was me pre-transition, I went through a whole emo phase. That was my excuse to wear makeup, by the way. I would tell my parents what I wanted to look like. I was like, I'm gonna have this and this, and I'm being PG because I don't want to get into it, you know, but I want to have this, and I'm gonna look like this, and I'm gonna act like this, and this is what I'm gonna be. And this is exactly what I envisioned.
Well, that'll be part two on this podcast. We can get a little deeper then.
Okay,
I promise.
Fair
What about you,
enough.
Demi? Did you? I'm going to ask the same question. I'm going to repeat it because I know some people are just joining on the TikTok. Where what you envisioned before the transition? Do you find that what you look like now is better than you imagined, or you kind of it was exactly what you thought?
It's getting pretty close to exactly what I thought. Again, I'm
Awesome.
getting my follow-up FFS because the doctor did not do what they were supposed to. My new surgeon even has stated they did not do what they were supposed to. But we'll talk top surgery real quick.
Yeah.
I have concept arts that were drawn up as me as woman or female, however you want to put it.
Okay.
And my chest looks identical to the way I've described it for those art pictures that were drawn up of me.
Uh-huh.
Um, I couldn't be happier. I wouldn't say it's better, but I would say it's as close to perfection as I can get.
That's
and I
great.
definitely want to put this out here for you,
Yeah, please,
Angel, to
please,
put it
yes.
into perspective. A person's transition is never done. What might be done and over with for one person might not be done and over with for another person.
Right.
Transition is a long process. And it could be whether it's medical, surgical, social, it's never over. We still will be trans and continue to evolve for the rest of our lives.
And you know what? In one aspect, I can say to you, I kind of understand because I've told you all this. I struggle with my weight, and I'm constantly trying to transition myself into this quote unquote thin guy with the sixth and seventh ab, and God knows I have no abs, but that's okay. And but I wouldn't trade the non abs for. I wouldn't even want six pack because I don't feel that that would make me who I am. I am been made to be the chunky, cute, plump. I have to have that face, and that's what my wife tells me. So I'm learned that I love myself because of that, and so I've gotten to the point where I've evolved, and I'm happy.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to keep myself healthy, but those donuts keep calling me. So and or
But
for
you and me
Emily's
both.
sake, chocolate. Yeah. See, yeah, that's how I got
I got
Emily
you.
to do the podcast. By the way, I got to get her like a month's supply of chocolate. No, I'm just
Oh, is that
No.
what it was?
kidding. So let's
I just
end
want
with
to
this. Where do you get your strengths from? And where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Demi, would you like to go first?
Oh, she shot you on.
Oh, throwing me out there. Where do I get my strength from? I get my strength from my close circle, that has gotten much smaller. I did lose a lot of people when I started outwardly doing my transition.
Mm,
Meeting people like Emily who have got me through certain parts of my transition where I'm not transitioning well enough. And I was doing that thing where I was comparing it to other people's transition, which is something you absolutely shouldn't do. And the amazing support she's given me.
right.
My boyfriend in Oregon who tells me I'm beautiful every single day. And it's just like for you, and you mentioned this before, is your wife tells you you're beautiful or pretty or handsome
Yes.
on a daily, and just hearing those words is so helpful. So that's where I get my strength from. Where do I see myself in 5 years? Hopefully on a beach in Tahiti drinking mojitos.
Oh, nice. Go ahead, Emily. You got her laughing. Was that the
Uh,
same?
You okay, girl?
I'm fine. Um, where I get my strength from is I was heavily, heavily bullied growing up.
Oh, wow.
And again, being at that young age, transitioning, I was the first transgender girl. And now I say girl because it's past tense and I was also under the age of 18. So I was the first transgender girl in my school district, let alone the state at the time. Mind you, I transitioned in 2011. Wasn't really heard of. But I got bullied. I got called every name. I've gotten teased and pushed and hit and all that stuff.
Mm,
And I remember asking myself, is this worth it? Like, really asking myself, is this worth it? And crying every day and all that. And I think of everything everybody has said to me, regardless of who they are. I look at myself now and I forgive you, just so everyone's aware. I forgive all of you for anything you have ever said to me because now, being an adult, I'm happy and I thank everybody in a way because I wouldn't trade any situation I've ever been with because I had to go through every single one of those things and go up every single one of those obstacles to get to where I am now.
wow.
And I will say the person I'm with is wonderful. He did not exclude me because I'm trans. He does not see me differently before I had any of my surgeries, before I had a legal name change, before anything. Still loved and appreciated me for the woman I am, and still continues to love me and appreciate me for the woman I still am. Now, where do I see myself in 5 years? Hopefully, I make enough money to where I can have a farmhouse and raise cattle because one thing people might not know about me is I'm very passionate about cows. They are my favorite. And I just want to have a little dairy farm and be able to brush my cows and live my best life.
Wow. Well, on the chat, there's a person named Miss Universe, and she says, in 5 years, we'll have her with a hearse. She says Emily's 5-year goal is driving a pipped out hearse. Yes.
I do want one. And I know that's very like weird to say, but
That's all right.
I'm very stuck in the goth ways, but I'm not actually goth, of course not, but I still enjoy that whole aesthetic.
But you
And
just have to be different. You have to have that
Oh,
hearse.
absolutely. Being different is wonderful.
well, I want to
I
point
mean, if
out to
ever,
you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, finish.
oh, I was gonna say if everyone is normal, we'd look like one of those bad movies where we're on like a escalator in the airport, all going to work in the same suit, in the same briefcase. Being
Wow.
different should be celebrated, not frowned upon.
Very well said. People on the chat, we have some crying. We have a lot of people saying thank you. I've seen the words gorgeous. I've seen the phrase inspirational. I've seen the phrase they've given me strength and hope. You both have made a difference today. You
I
both
appreciate it.
have completely shown people, and I am sure of my listeners, a different side to look and think about. I want to thank you both for attending our podcast tonight. We'll talk a few minutes after we get off the air, but I want to end this way. My message to the world: smile like you've never done before, listen like you've never done before, forgive like you've never done before, love like you've never done before, and the world will witness and be a better place because of it. Remember one thing: we are brought onto this world for a purpose. We have a gift, we have a talent, God has blessed us with humility, joy, patience, kindness, goodness, and much more. And we become more like him or more like any of the gods that we serve if we try our very best to open our minds and our hearts. Because when we do that, we truly have become the person that God wanted us to be. On behalf of Emily and Demi, on behalf of all of us here at Have Faith, Let It Begin, thank you for listening. And never forget, have faith, let it begin. Thank you for listening to another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. That's right, Ariel. We're done with another show. And it's always great to have this show with you, my love. You know, we're going to encourage each and every person to listen to our show every single weekday. That's right, you and I are going to help change the world. Do you think that you can do that for me? Huh? Yeah, you know you can. She does. We want to let you know, and yes, we encourage you to listen to our show each and every weekday, and it's going to be live at 7:30. Make sure you're subscribed to our show. Make sure you get ready, fasten those seatbelts, because Ariel and I and my family are going to bring you a new topic, a new story each and every day, right? Isn't that right, Ariel? Yeah. And she's smiling at me. Guys, enjoy your day.